You've begun assembling your team of Outlaws, but before we can take the fight to the other team, there's just a few more details we need to lock down. Hey there friends, it's Codiak here, back for another video, and today we're diving into the world of Hood, Outlaws and Legends, and sharing some important information you need to know ahead of launch. Before we get too deep, I want to remind you all that we already have an Ultimate Preview video on the channel giving you a snapshot of the entire game. If you want to learn about the classes, gameplay, and progression, definitely give that video a watch. Today, however, I want to dive into an official FAQ as well as some additional information to help us answer some of the questions we still have about the game. Now, getting straight into this, the base experience for Hood, Outlaws, and Legends will cost $30. The Year 1 edition, which will include 3 full seasons of content, some cosmetics, and 3 days of early access, will cost $50. For players that pre-order the Year 1 edition, they'll be able to play the game on May 7th, 3 days ahead of the May 10th official release date. Hood will also feature crossplay with players on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC all together in one matchmaking pool. There is a small catch, however. Players will not be able to invite people from other platforms to their game. The reason for this is because it would force players to create specific Hood accounts, and the developers didn't want to do that, instead opting for a more seamless crossplay feature, albeit a little lackluster in terms of usability. Taking this a step further, there will also be dedicated servers in Hood, and players will be able to create parties across the 4 major regions designated by the game: US East, US West, Europe, and Asia Singapore. The server that ultimately is used for the game will be the one closest to the host. If players want to opt out of crossplay matchmaking, they can, but as we've come to learn with other games with similar features, this will most likely result in longer queue times. In terms of the game's progression, everything in Hood will be unlocked by playing. At this time, there is no plan for a microtransaction store, and as we talked about in our Ultimate Preview video, variable progression elements boil down to new perks that players can equip in one of 3 slots to change the gameplay of the specific class they're equipped on. While Hood won't feature a microtransaction store, it is being shipped as a live service game, but the team has already made it clear that any gameplay changes made over the course of the title's lifespan will be free for all players. Free updates will include new maps, game modes, characters, and more, and will be largely determined by player feedback. One thing we have already seen inklings of is a new map called Storgrimod. Teased in the official press kit and flashing on screen briefly during the gameplay overview trailer, this snowy castle high in the mountains looks to be the first major map post-launch. A 5th character has also been teased according to the game's press kit. Word of the state's famed treasures continue to travel far, and a 5th legendary outlaw is due to make her arrival in Sherwood from overseas. Now, I'm not going to pretend I'm a Robin Hood expert, so if anyone has any idea who this new mysterious lady could be, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, diving into some more gameplay-focused things, here are some details that are pretty hard to come by, but I think a lot of players will be interested in. Hood will actually feature a PvE-only mode, which will allow players to jump into the game solo or with a squad and explore the game without the threat of an opposition player-controlled team. This mode is intended for practice and was created to give players a chance to learn the map layouts and character skills. The team does encourage everyone to play the heist mode, which is what the game is balanced around, but isn't trying to restrict players that may just want to take a different approach to enjoying the game. In a similar vein, you may also be wondering about custom lobbies and a ranked mode. At this time, the game won't feature either. You will be able to create a party before entering matchmaking, but putting together a 4v4 match just isn't possible. In terms of a ranked mode, the team is looking into the possibility of implementing this if the community wants it after launch. It won't be available at launch, but the possibilities do exist. Another burning question has to do with the classes in the game. I didn't know the answer to this at the time, but after a little digging, I am able to confirm that you will be able to have multiple players on a team with the same class. There doesn't look to be any restrictions on this, so if you want to stack a particular class, you're free to do so. We mentioned in our Ultimate Preview video that players can hold down certain areas of the map and claim them as respawn points, but one thing we haven't been able to find out is just how quickly you'll be able to get back into the action after you die. The team has said that throughout closed beta, feedback suggested that players wanted a more hardcore experience with a limited number of respawns per player. It's unclear if this is going to be implemented at launch, but the team is aware that it's something the community is interested in. Another question bubbling up in the comments has to do with players that leave mid-match. Thanks to a mod on the Hood subreddit, we were able to find out some information about players that quit the game. They won't receive any XP, and the matchmaking will actually try and find someone to fill mid-match. This may not be an answer everyone likes, but take it with a grain of salt since a mod on a subreddit is a far stretch from an actual developer of the game. Finally, let's talk about some of the technical aspects of Hood, Outlaws, and Legends. The game will be available to preload ahead of launch on all platforms. The game will not be supported on widescreen formats, and the general download size of the game will vary from 15 gigabytes to 30 gigabytes, dependent on the platform you're playing on. At this time, system requirements are not public knowledge as the team is running their final technical tests ahead of launch. So there you have it, a healthy chunk of new information to sink your teeth into as we prepare to take the fight to the state in Hood, Outlaws, and Legends. Livid, myself, and a few of our friends here at Legacy Gaming will be playing and streaming the game on May 7th, so if you're interested in following along with our journey, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. It's completely free for you, and it really does help us out a ton. If you're interested in a full-blown review of the game, keep an eye out for our Hood, Outlaws, and Legends Worth Your Time video. We'll be diving into the game and getting you all of that information as soon as we've played enough to make the call. Finally, if you guys like our content and are a fan of what we stand for here at Legacy Gaming, you can help us out even more by becoming a member. For the cost of a cup of coffee, you're helping evolve the channel and build a better community. Check out that join button below to learn more. My name is Codiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.